spend a lot of time farming for is going to be your heroes. Basically, you can always pull out heroes from your collection book. If you go here, you can pull out your soldiers, your constructors, your ninjas, your outlanders. They will take a little bit of time. Honestly, the best outlanders, before I go and tell you which one's best, let me make sure I tell you a little bit about them. In this game, it has a completely different game style than Battle Royale does, if it makes any sense. Battle Royale is all about, shooting the enemy, killing the enemy, be done with it. In this game, you tend to do a little more damage with trap tunnels than with guns themselves, even if the guns have a higher DPS damage than traps. It's just the way the game was designed to be. It's a playground. It's a play box where you can do whatever you want. It just, keep in mind the materials you do have. So with that in mind, constructors, they have abilities that should be innate to all of them without taking perks, such as construction speed and saving construction materials. But most constructors have that, and the reason is because the way the game was designed to do, and I agree with David Dean on that, is constructors build the base and the trap tunnels. Outlanders go around getting the storm fragments and materials because they are good at farming. Most of them. Some are good for fighting, but that's a different story. Ninjas are mostly for fighting. Soldiers are mostly for fighting as well. So with that in mind, soldiers and ninjas have technically the highest resistance, followed by the outlanders, and then constructors last. Outlanders do see combat. Constructors are not really meant for combat. Soldiers and ninjas are meant for pure combat. They did a little bit of changes around the heroes. They added the they have the trailblazer. They have the gunblazer. Those are considered fighting outlanders because they have more abilities for fighting, like the enforcer, where the Teddy gets huge boost from fragments, from the storm fragments, and it's because it's meant to be an introduction into combat. With the outlanders, you get a little more of noob friendly abilities where you can throw out a Teddy, and while the Teddy is slowing them down because his guns slow down the enemies a little bit, you can take shots and kill the enemy. And it's true that if you set down a Teddy and run away, it will take care of most of the enemies. But that is not really what it's meant to do. What it was meant to do was throw down Teddy, pull out your gun, and exterminate the enemies as quickly as you can. Teddy is your backup fire. He is the cover fire that you needed so you can turn around and smash whatever's behind you. Ninjas and soldiers don't have Teddy because their abilities are far more powerful and their cooldown is so much faster that they are meant for destroying. I mean, soldiers are meant more for like secondary fire, basically. A lot of the soldiers have the ability in shots. They have abilities that increase damage for everybody else, and that is because the soldier is, he's a main support hero. This guy right here is a main combat unit. Ninjas, with their abilities and the way you should play with them, are deadly. Ninjas, there's no other character in here that should be able to outdo a ninja combat wise, but it's dumb because ninjas can do a ton of killing on the little guys and big guys equally, whereas outlanders, they have an easier time getting rid of the smaller guys if there's no big guys, or the big guys because Steady will tend to aim at the most dangerous enemies. So while you're taking down one smasher, everybody else is taking down all the little husk, everybody's gonna get a higher combat score than you. So I don't know why people are complaining about outlanders right now. The whole overpowered thing, don't even believe that hype. It's just a tiny little glitch they'll fix, and it works for your advantage if you want to think about it that way, but there's no reason to bash anybody else for it. Ninjas, most of them have enhancing abilities for swords. They do have support bonuses, which is one thing that you should really think about. For example, my heroes are not that powerful, but the way I use Enforcer, or I'm going to use Enforcer once I actually get him up to level, because I've tried in some lower level missions, is use Enforcer because he's an energy hungry slayer. I will back him up with someone like Energy Thief Mary. Where is he? Where every couple swipes of my sword, I'm doing, I'm stealing energy, so my energy can come back faster. I can use kunai knives faster, everything else. And for this girl, I can either do energy damage, I can do Lamurai for ability damage, but honestly, I'll rather use something like this because now I can use my Masamune. Where is it? I can use my Masamune sword or another sword. There we go. My Masamune sword or my Stormblade, once I get him up to level, I can use those two and actually do more damage with the sword while I'm refilling my energy before I use kunai knives again and throwing stars to Dragon Slash. So ninjas, you know, they require a little more energy, they require a little more effort to use, but they do give you a good payout once you actually get it. Once you start using them the way they should. It's like playing Overwatch with Genji and expecting to win the game without having to, you know, do the Genji stuff in Overwatch. Heroes here, you know, their abilities are obviously nice to use, but they are not meant to be the destructive power of the level. They're not meant to clear the level, otherwise we wouldn't get any guns. The abilities are there to give you a little bit of an edge, to give you a little bit of a different gameplay than Call of Duty where you're just shooting. The abilities are there to, you know, make sure that you have a little fun with the game, throwing abilities here and there. And it would be awesome if they could clear smashers. You know, I don't have a trouble with Striker. I'm always playing with Striker just because he's a well-rounded character in my opinion. He is not OP with the Teddy right now because his cooldown is 45 seconds, so everybody says he's trash. I use him with my Fragment Flurry Jess, which, you know, I'll rather use as a support squad for energy damage for all my guns. And then over here at the end, I either use a shield, such as this guy for longer Teddy duration, or I use this guy for whenever my shield breaks, which doesn't happen often. With this guys, or I can use a support squad such as this guy, Jonesy. Basically, when I'm doing a phase shift, it creates like a wave that knocks down enemies. Like it kind of confuses them, it pushes them back, and it gives me a little break in time. So, you know, with your heroes, they all have special abilities that they can be supported in your main hero squad. And when you're playing the game, you know, check what heroes you have, what abilities they do. Like this one, now I can drop ammo when I'm low on ammo, when I'm low on ore, when I'm low on crystals, quartz crystals. I start playing with my Pathfinder on private servers, and I get every single purple llama equipped with the Gunblazer as one of my squad hero. And I go in 2-3 missions, and I get myself a nice chunk of obsidian, shadow shard. I get myself a nice chunk of malachite. I get myself a nice chunk of materials, guns. You know, it just depends how you pair up your heroes. Heroes can be paired up in so many different ways. Like I said, you know, if you want to play with constructors, keep in mind that their resistance is not the greatest. They get hit a couple times by bosses such as takers, and they go down pretty quickly. Whereas soldiers and ninjas can take a beating. Even though ninjas have less health overall than soldiers, they can take a beating a little bit more than constructors. Outlanders are in between constructors and soldiers, and then constructors are like the last resistance wise. They are awesome for when you're playing the game right and you're building trap tunnels. You want to see what Husk do. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. This is pretty much what I run with when I go into levels. I come in here and I pull out a stack of traps when I'm running level 100 missions or something, and that way I can do whatever I want with the traps. I can set them up in different ways, see what the Husk do, try to see, you know, if I can change traps around or a wall around a little bit so Husk don't destroy my stuff anymore. I'm a little behind on the whole building thing, but, you know, like I say, you know, this game is pretty fun. You just gotta try to pay attention to what you're doing with your heroes. If there's a hero you don't want to get, or you want to get specifically, I would highly recommend getting Striker as your Outlander, just because, like I said, you know, he's well-rounded in my opinion. If you like shooting games like Call of Duty and you know how to handle a shooting game like that, Striker's probably your best option. It allows you to shift back and forth, run away from enemies, throw out a Teddy. Every 7 seconds, if you don't hit any materials, you get the long arm, you get the destructive force, the strike. It does quite a bit of damage on smashers. I've been able to kill regular 94 level player level mission smashers. With elemental smashers, it's more like 2/3 of its life, but you know, I do have a pretty insane, compared to other people, well-rounded character. My commander and my nerds sitting in the command center are doing a pretty good job at, you know, keeping up with the technology and making sure they improve their skills so that my heroes out there in the field can have a better chance of fighting the Husk. That's the way I see it. So, you know, if I can farm a 4x Survivor XP mission and get lightning in the bottom, get a couple nice things, I will do that just because of the Survivor XP. And I'm high enough level that I can do 100 level missions. But honestly, in a game where the goal of the game is full-on customization of schematics, where you can have 20 of the same schematic, different perks, and so it's a different gun, or you can have, well, heroes, you can only really need one of each, unless you want their support squad, then you can pile on a couple together. Defenders, you kind of just need the main ones you use on your squad and a couple for your storm shield. If you haven't purchased defender slots in your storm shields and your tiers, don't waste your points. it makes it easier to fill up your skill tree at the end. As you can see, I wasted here and I kind of regret it, but you know, I'm done now, so it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. So yeah, that's pretty much with your heroes. Always check on your store as well. They put seasonal items that will only come during the season. So these items right here are only available during this event. This one's a regular hero you can get from the book. But event items like this, you know, the ones that are gone, they're gone. You can't get them back. They are event heroes unless they do a birthday llama again. Same goes with the weekly store. If you have enough weekly coins, I advise you to buy the schematics, just because you get design points out of them, you get XP out of them, and it gives you more choice for getting a different schematics out of them. If you can't afford it, get at least a trap if you don't have the traps, or if you have the traps, like I said, you know, I'm working on getting at least 3-4 at 106 and 82 so I can play with the perks around. This game is have a full customization, goes for your heroes. You can mix and match whatever heroes you want up here. Each hero has their own perks that will add or decrease to your heroes. Like this one, it will increase my reload speed, which I've used it, and when I do that, I get the highest combat score just because my hacksaw with the 30% reload speed, it's deadly. I'm shooting 100 bullets and my reload speed goes down to insanely fast. Like I've never timed it, but the reload speed right now is 2.9, 30% of that, or no, it's 30% of the base, I believe. And I believe it's 5.5 seconds. So this goes down by like 1 second when I'm doing carbide. So it's an insanely fast reload and insanely high damage. And this is my first 130 that I'm going to be working on once I catch up everything else to 82. As you can see, you're never done with this game. There's a lot of schematics to level up. So this is one of those games where the more you play, the more you learn, the more you pay attention, the more you see your survivors do. I have a couple survivors that are not happy, and I wish I did, but you know, it is what it is, and they'll come along when they need to. And the only thing I'm doing right now is it's grinding up and helping people. When people have questions, I try to answer them, but I feel like, you know, if there is this guide out here, then you know that that's, you know, this game has no end goal. It's just keep going until you're done with it, until you're not leveling up anymore. But yeah,